Hello and welcome to Landia. Today I would like to talk about fear and how fear has more power in your mind than it does in reality. First, what is fear? Fear basically is what we don't know, is what we in our minds cannot predict or make a plan. Fear is the sense that you lack control. It does not mean that something bad is going to happen. It just means that you don't know what is going to happen. So in your mind, when you cannot plan out or map out or see and visualize how things are going to go, you have fear because fear is a lack of control. And I think in a lot of ways we fear because we don't trust ourselves or the world to give us something good. We don't trust ourselves and our skills and our wisdom to be able to go through any situation that life throws at us. And also, we don't trust the world to provide us with a sense of safety and happiness and enjoyment. So we kind of project always the worst case scenario when we don't have that plan in our mind, where we cannot see what are going to be our next steps, where we don't know what is going to happen next. And the thing is that this is a very normal human experience. Fear never truly disappears. This is kind of a survival technique because, in a lot of ways, if we go back in time, we needed to have this sense of control to survive. Like, we needed to know, okay, this is the way that is going to happen because we felt like if we did not have the control, we might not be able to survive, especially if we're talking about the beginning of times, like when we live in tribe, then we were very dependent on seasons and on the world to basically make us safe. And we learned this sense that fear is a lack of control due to survival, due to many years of adaptation. So it does make sense why we fear. But the thing is, fear has more power in your mind than it does in reality. And why? Fear never stops to exist. You kind of learn how to live with it and embrace it, or you kind of learn how to live from it. For me, living from fear is living a life that is controllable, is living a life where we know what we are going to expect, is living a life where we stay in our comfort zones because we know what is going to happen and we can map out in our mind what is going to happen next. This life of living from fear might be comfortable because we can in our minds have a sense of predictability, because we can in our mind map it out and know what is going to happen next, and this gives a sense of comfort, but in a lot of times might not even be healthy. Our comfort zone might not even be good for us, but we fear leaving that comfort zone because we don't know what is going to happen next. And through many years of evolution and through many years of adaptation, we learn to expect the worst as a way to survive, right? So living from fear is living the same old routine, is maybe going to a job that is predictable, even though it might not be your dream job, or even though you might not even like to do it, but you work in that job because it's a 9 to 5, it is predictable, you know what is going to happen, and that brings you a sense of safety. Living from fear is also interacting with the same people, because maybe these people don't even accept you as you are. Maybe these people don't even like treat you the best, but you stay with them because it is predictable, because you know what is going to happen next. Maybe living from fear is living the same city that you always lived because you know what is going to happen, even though that maybe you want to explore the world, but you are like, I don't know, I'm going to do that. I cannot predict that. I cannot plan it out thoroughly in my mind. So you stay in the same city or countries that you always lived. It's because it is your comfort zone. And this is why I see fear as having more power in the mind than it does in reality. Because a lot of times when we face this fear and we get out of our comfort zone, yes, not everything is easy. Some things are going to be hard for sure. But the vision of fear that we had in our mind was way bigger than it was in reality. Actually, in reality, things are way simpler and way easier than we have expected in our mind. Because again, fear is like generations of evolution and adaptation designed for us to survive, designed for us to basically try to keep us safe to the maximum of capability and trying to keep us safe to the maximum of our capabilities, trying to predict all the threats that can exist. But when we, in reality, take the action that we were so scared of, when we in reality take the action that we were so afraid of, we see it and we do it and we realize, wait, it was not that bad. Yes, I was super scared. I thought about the 50 multiple worst case scenarios that are possible, but I still did it and it wasn't that bad. Those multiple scenarios did not happen and things went way easier and way more peaceful and more secure than I have expected, right? Because fear is not a feeling that is coming from reality. Fear is a way to keep us quote unquote safe. It's a way to give us that sense of safety. But the thing is, fear gives us a sense of safety, but we might not even be safe. Fear just gives us a sense of safety by giving us an illusion of control, because control is always an illusion. You don't have control from the outside of you. All you have control is over your actions, and not even fully, because there are many actions and many behaviors that you're not aware that you are making, and you are incontrollable in those behaviors. So, really, control is only a very little fraction of your actions and a very little fraction of life. There is your need to trust in yourself and also in the world to know that the worst case scenario won't happen, or even if the worst case scenario did happen, that you'll be able to overcome and surpass it, and you'll be able to grow from it. And that's really what fear is at the end of the day, is taking out the illusion of control, is taking out this sense of predictability and this sense of safety, even though it's not real safety, is a sense of safety, because safety means having your boundaries respected. Safety means respecting your own boundaries. Safety means a sense of comfort and peace and stability within you. And you can sense that sense of safety in unstable environments, in environments that are not good for you, in toxic environments and people. And this, it feels safe because it is predictable. That's all fear is. Fear is not knowing. It is not predicting the future. It is not predicting your reality. It's not a direct translation of reality. It's just you not knowing and not being at peace with losing control, which is totally okay. You don't need to be at peace with feeling fear. You don't need to be at peace with losing control. But the importance here is that fear has more power in your mind than it does in reality. Because if we reject fear, in this sense that if we reject avoiding this fear, if we reject feeling this fear, we are basically creating a life that gives us a sense of predictability, comfortability, and safety. Again, just because it gives us a sense of predictability, comfortability, and safety does not mean it is comfortable or safe. Usually, it's quite the opposite, right? We might feel very comfortable, very safe in toxic environments because that's all we know, right? So when we reject feeling this fear and when we reject and avoid sitting with these emotions of fear, basically we are creating a predictable life. We are not taking the risk that we want to take. We are not going after our dream job. We are not moving to the country that we desire. We are not leaving our toxic friendships or relationships to seek better ones. We stay in fear. So, actually, rejecting the fear creates more fear in your reality because rejecting the fear is living in that comfort zone that a lot of times it is not the healthiest for you and it's not even what you want, right? Living in fear is almost just accepting what life gives to you. For example, if you're born in a certain city, in a certain country, around a certain family, around certain people, and you don't leave that environment because you are fearful, basically you are just taking what life gives to you and settling in it. So that's why I say that fear has more power in your mind than it does in reality, because it is your mind that is creating that that it is your mind that is making you stay in these unhealthy environments. It is your mind that is making you settle. It is your mind that is making you not chase the things that you want, not chase the dreams that you want, not chase the lifestyle that you desire. And the rejection of fear, you not wanting to sit with these emotions of fear, basically creates a comfortable, yes. Predictable, yes. Seems safe, yes. But unfulfilling life. And when you face this fear, so basically facing the fear is saying, yes, I'm super scared. I don't know what is going to happen next. I don't know how things about to go down, but I'm going to take that job either way. But I'm going to move cities or countries either way, but I'm gonna leave this friend group or relationship either way. Yes, I'm super scared. I'm not denying that. I'm super scared because I don't know how the unpredictable is. I don't know how the unknown looks like. There are so many things that could happen to me, but I'm taking that step either way. Basically, feeling the fear is you saying, yes, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it either way, right? That's how you face fear, is by letting yourself take the action that you are fearful of and feel the fear. Because when you don't take the action that you are fearful of, when you settle by your comfort zone, you are avoiding the feelings of fear, but basically you are creating a life from fear. Even though that you are avoiding those feelings of fear, your life is being created and generated by fear, right? Because you are staying in the environments that are comfortable to you because you're fearful. You are not chasing the life of your dreams because you are fearful. You are not creating the relationships that you desire because you are fearful. So, in a lot of ways, rejecting fear is creating fear, is living from fear, is living a life from fear. And accepting fear is embracing those emotions, embracing, yes, I'm so scared. I'm incredibly fearful, but I'm going to do the thing that I want either way, because fear never ceases to exist. Fear is a very human experience, a very survival experience. We are always going to experience fear in one way or another. We are going to experience fear by creating a life from fear, by staying in the comfortable, staying the safe, staying the predictable, or we're going to feel fear by facing our fear, by going after the things that we actually want and feel the fear. And I actually found that feeling fearful, is like the best sign that you have for you to go for it. The more fear you have around taking a certain action, the more is an indicator that you should take that action. You know that quote that is, pride comes before the fall. I think in a lot of ways our brain works through overcompensation, in the sense that even if we are not conscious of something, even if we are unconscious of something, but we still feel those emotions in our body, in the sense that in a lot of times in my life, the things that I was most comfortable with, the things that I was most like confident in, and I did it, and they were a disaster. Like the actions that I was going to take, and I was like feeling super confident, super comfortable. I've done this like 1,000 million times. Like I'm capable of this. I'm comfortable with this. And when I will take that action, usually those actions will not go good. Usually I will fail. But in the actions that I was so scared of taking, that I was like, oh my God, I'm so fearful to do this. And when I let myself do those actions, they went good. Though that is when my actions actually were successful. I think our brain works for overcompensation. So when something is going to be bad and then when something is not going to work out, we feel extra confident in it because it's us overcompensating for the bad thing that is going to happen. Again, even if it's not even if it's not conscious, I think unconsciously we know that. I think unconsciously our body knows that, and there is a lot that our emotions are telling us. Our emotions are not predicting a reality because it's kind of the opposite. Like what we feel, what is going to happen in reality is kind of the opposite because a lot of times we overcompensate in our body, in our psyche, in our emotions. So I really feel like unconsciously we are overcompensating for something bad that is going to happen, even if we don't know consciously what is happening. I think unconsciously we are overcompensating, right? And the same goes with fear. When you are fearful of something, I think that's a great sign to do it. I think when you are like super scared of doing something, usually I say to people, if you are super scared, that's a great sign. Like things are going to go all right because again, it's an overcompensation. I think when something good, really good, is about to happen, you are scared of it. I have seen that a lot of times in my life, and I also see it with other people that the more they were scared of doing something, the better will be the outcome. And even me, for example, when I post, there are some things that I'm afraid to post. And I've noticed that those things that I'm afraid to post, they usually have the best outcomes. Not only that, but in life, like all the things I was super scared to do, I did it. And I was like, one, great outcome, only led me to better. Two, I also realized that the fear had more power in my mind than it had in reality because reality is not that scary. Yes, like there are some things that are not easy. Yes, there are some things that are hard in life, but I was able to overcome all of those things and I was able to rise up as a more wiser and more conscious person from it. Those bad things that happened to me, and a lot of them, I had a lot of bad, quote unquote, bad things that happened to me, only made me more powerful, only made me wiser, only made me more capable, right? So, in a lot of ways, I think fear is a great indicator of how things are going to go all right. And even if when things don't go all right, even when things are hard, trust in yourself, in knowing that you are capable to overcome it. Trust in yourself, in knowing that you are capable to learn from it. And actually, I think it's very important to have sometimes these difficulties and hard times because they're really teaching you a lot. They are teaching you a lot. You are growing from it and you are creating a life from the knowledge that you have gained through these difficult experiences. Because sometimes it is very important to go through these difficult experiences for us to have a better understanding of the world, for us to move wiser through the world, for us to know better, right? Because you only know by doing. That's the only way you're really going to know. Yes, you can like read about it, you can read in books, but the most valuable knowledge that you're going to have is through experience. So with fear, I think it's really important to give it space to exist. I think it's really important to feel our fear because that is the only way that we're going to make a friendship with it. The best way to utilize fear is to feel it because we cannot avoid it, we cannot reject it. Because if we avoid and we reject, we create a life around fear, create a life from fear. But if we accept our fear and we feel our fear, we create a life from authenticity. We create a life from desire. We create a life from passion because we are going after the things that we actually want. We are going after the things that we actually desire, and we are not settling because of fear. So, to feel fear, there are some techniques that I like to do. Journaling is a big one for me. I really like to take time, especially at night. To journal and to express my fear. And I try to be as unfiltered as I can. I really try to express my fear, say it out loud, write it down exactly how I feel and exactly how it is in my mind. I write down all the worst case scenarios. I express all the worst case scenarios. I think is for you to feel fear is really important to express it. And the more you express it, the lighter it becomes. So taking time to express fear and to feel fear. Also taking time out of your day to feel fear in your body and say, hey, it's okay. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. I'm here while you are feeling this fear. This fear does not dictate your reality, quite the opposite. It's actually telling you that great things are coming. So let me sit with you while you feel this fear because this is actually a great sign. This is a sign that you are going after the things that you want. This is a sign that you want to get the things that you want. So let me be here while you feel your fear. So feeling your fear in your body, like thinking about the worst case scenario, writing it down and really tapping into the body and feel the sensations that fear brings to your body. That is a good way to basically walk with fear because fear, again, will never disappear. All you can do is learn how to live in it and how to live with it, right? And not live from it. All you can do is learn how to take time to feel your fear. So that's a really good technique that I like that is express. Think about the worst case scenario and tap into the sensation that this worst case scenario brings to my body. There is another technique that I like that is when was the first time. So when I feel the sensation in my body, I try to clear my mind and I ask myself while tapping into the sensations in my body. When was the first time that I ever felt this way? And usually I have an image in my mind of my childhood, most likely, or an experience from my past that brought me the sensation of fear. Because again, a lot of times our fear is just a reflection of our past. It's just like a wound that we have not yet healed and seen. So when we give space for that wound to heal, when we give space for our psyche to heal, fear also diminishes. Fear never disappears, but it's like degrees of fear. The more you accept and the more you feel the fear in your body, the less intense it gets. But you will never not feel fearful because actually feel fear is a great sign. Actually, feel fear is a sign that you are going after what you desire. It's a sign of authenticity. It's a sign that you are creating a life of your dreams. So actually, feeling fear is actually a good thing. But I'm talking about more like degrees of feeling fear because you can feel fear just like a little bit and you can manage from that. But sometimes, right, fear becomes really empowering and it makes you like stop and not take action, and they create an impact on your day to day. And that's why I use these techniques to kind of manage the intensity of fear, basically, because it never disappears. But all I can do is to manage its intensity by embracing it and feeling it. So, going to the root cause by asking when was the first time, it is really helpful, because the reason why you are feeling so intensely about it, the reason why it has such an impact in your body and in your psyche and your emotions, is because most likely it is a wound that you have not healed yet. And usually this is wounds around not feeling good enough, wounds around not being supported, wounds around of not feeling worthy, wounds around trying to prove yourself, wounds around also very survival experiences, like if you have not enough money to eat or drink or dress properly, very related to that. And that fear that is really intense usually is a reflection of a wound that we have not healed from childhood. So it's also really helpful to feel our fear so we can heal those past wounds that we have not yet faced. When the fear is really intense, and when it's so intense that it becomes overwhelming, I have another technique that is draw your monsters. Basically, this technique is you envision fear. You envision fear as a figure, as a creature. Usually they come to me as monsters, but they can come to you as anyway. And I like to or visualize them on the outside of me, like visualize fear on the outside of me. And I do this when it's really overwhelming. The fear, when the fear is like really intense, that it sends your body to like this fight, flight, or freeze response. When the fear is really intense, I like to visualize it on the outside of me, because visualizing it as something from the outside of you, it kind of tricks your brain to create distance. And the more distance you have, the safer you feel. So it creates more psychological safety, basically, in your mind for you to sit with these emotions and for you to feel this fear. So I visualize fear outside of me, or I even can. Draw it, like draw this visualization of fear. And I basically visualize this creature that is fear, and I give them love. I say, hey, I'm here for you. I'm sorry for what you're going through. I'm sorry that you are experiencing these emotions. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to keep you safe. And asking also that fear or that creature, what do you need from me? How can I be there for you? How can I support you? And do that for basically yourself, because this creature at the end of the day, it is you. This is just a technique when it's really overwhelming. So you create some distance between you and these very heavy emotions, and this distance creates psychological safety. But at the end of the day, this creature, this fear is you. So asking also yourself, what do you need in this moment? How can I make you feel supported in this moment? How can I make you feel safe in this moment, right? And giving yourself that is also a really good way that I found to cope with fear. And the more you feel fear, the more you give it a loving space to exist, the less intense it gets. And at some point, you are able to take actions even though you are super scared. Fear never disappears. Or you live from it, or you live with it. Let me know down in the comments if you resonated with this message. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you like this content, subscribe. Bye.